This is a review of the SterlingPro stainless steel double wall French coffee press. It comes assembled, but I've disassembled it to show you how it's put together, because if you ever want to, you can change these two screens because they ship you two extra stainless steel screens. This is what they call a double screen coffee press. This assures that you don't get the coffee grounds into your brewed coffee. It does an excellent job. To be honest with you, I had to take a pair of pliers and grip on this shaft right here to hold it while I unscrewed this base to take the filters off. When you put it back together, you have the base here. You set in the two filters. You set in this spring mechanism which holds open the filters in the proper shape to make sure they press down the sides of the walls of the coffee press, and then you re-screw this back together and assemble it. Here you can see I've assembled it back together. This is how the assembly is supposed to look like. I only showed that because if you ever want to change these filters, it's easy to do. I wanted to show that to you. In addition, after you brew your coffee, the first thing you want to do is wash these filters up and clean them to make sure they don't get the ground stuck into them. In addition, you get a coffee scoop and you get an instruction manual which tells you how to brew the coffee. The first one I ever used, this didn't come with it, and I'm glad to see it's now included. And of course you get the container itself. I do want to point out here that this is a bit different. The first ones I've reviewed were glass-walled. This is actually a double wall container which is all stainless steel inside and out. That makes it nice to keep your coffee warm, but I have one warning for you. After you press the coffee and brew it, you can't let it sit here for a long period of time. You should drink the coffee within 10 minutes. If you let it sit here for a long period of time, the coffee grounds will be at the bottom, and with the hot coffee still left inside, say it's half full, it will continue to brew and make that coffee stronger and stronger. The thing I like about this is its beautiful design, and its stainless steel makes it easy to clean. It looks nice in any kitchen, it's a nice accessory, and it brews a great cup of coffee. When you're going to make your coffee, what you want to do is you want to put one rounded tablespoon of coffee in for each 4-ounce cup of coffee. So you put that in here. It's going to take more than you expect. It's recommended that you use a coarse grind of coffee. We don't normally have that around. We use our normal grind of coffee. But I have to tell you, these double screens do a great job and keep the grounds out of the coffee. And then you want to pour in hot water, but not boiling. Boiling water will make the coffee taste bitter. Hot water makes a better cup of coffee. It's very smooth and very strong and robust, but not bitter. After you've got the coffee in there and you're pouring your warm water, you gently stir it with a device. I always use a spatula, and the reason for that is I use it to wipe the sides at the top to make sure I don't have any coffee grounds above where I start pushing the filter in. This is about the amount of coffee that we add in for every 4-ounce cup. I've already put the coffee in here. I want to tell you that it states that this is 32 ounces, so it recommends about 8 of the tablespoons of coffee. I use that as a rule of thumb. If you don't like your coffee that strong, you can try 6 or 7 tablespoons. So you have to experiment to get the flavor you like. Just a couple suggestions. If you want to get water that's hot but not boiling, just run water through your own coffee pot, and it's not going to be boiling. It's going to be at the right temperature. It's somewhere around 180 to 190 degrees. In addition, because we're going to have some excess coffee left over and I don't want it to continue brewing, we pour the extra coffee into a thermos glass, which keeps it nice and hot, but it's not in the grounds and continuing to brew. I'm now going to pour the hot water in, and I'm going to fill the coffee pot up to within about 1 inch of the top. Now that I've poured the water, I'm going to stick in the spatula and begin to stir the coffee grounds throughout the water to start the brewing process. And after you do this, you want the coffee to sit for about 3 minutes to reach its best flavor. Make sure that you put your stirring device all the way to the bottom of the pot and make sure you've mixed up all the grounds. The nice thing about letting it sit for 3 minutes, the coffee becomes richer and more robust in flavor, and the double wall keeps it nice and warm while it's doing this, rather than dissipating all that heat to the outside. Now that it's brewed, you want to take this lid and put it in here and have this slope facing towards the pouring area. So you want to get it started, press this down and assemble it together, and now that you've done that, you want to gently press down with your hand, not too fast, and what you're doing now is you're pressing the grounds down to the bottom of the pot and leaving the pure coffee that you're going to drink. It won't go all the way to the bottom because you're going to have that thickness of the grounds at the bottom. And there you can see, that's as far down as I can go. I'm going to pour 2 cups of coffee, and you can see it's nice and dark and rich. Here you can see we've poured ourselves 2 very large cups of coffee. Of course, we're typical Americans. We got a little bit of creamer, a little bit of sweetener in it. I tell you, it's really very good. It's not bitter at all, which is what you would expect by not using boiling water. And as you can see, there's absolutely no grounds in the coffee. There's still coffee in the pot. I'm going to pour what's left over into this other little thermos just to save it and keep it warm. Again, I have to reiterate that if you don't do that, and you're sitting around talking and not paying attention, and you let this continue to sit here, it's going to continue to brew inside of here and get stronger and stronger and ruin the flavor of the coffee that's left. I tell you what, this is an excellent cup of coffee. As my wife said, smooth. It's a strong European taste of coffee. It's like being in Europe, like when I was in Germany or Switzerland or France. Really, really good. Here you can see we put the cap on this little thermos to keep this coffee warm. That way when we finish this cup, whether we're watching TV, talking, or eating a couple of cookies, we still got hot coffee to drink later on. This is an excellent product. I rate it at 5 stars. It's clean, it's strong. I actually like it better than the glass ones. I know with the glass ones you can see through and see where the press is, but in this case, it's very, very nice. And I tell you what, this pot is still hot from having the grounds inside of it, so it does a good job of holding in the heat. Don't forget, if you want to really be a professional, coarse ground coffee, we didn't use it, and I have to tell you, we haven't found any grounds in the coffee at all. Just a comment, if you have somebody who really loves coffee, this would make an excellent gift. Whether it's for a housewarming, or Christmas, or a birthday, they're going to certainly enjoy it. It's something they'll use for many years. 5-star product. This review is done by JJ CEO. I'd like to tell you I received a sample for test and evaluation, and I didn't promise a review, but I promised if I gave one it would be fair and honest.